Hi, everybody. Before we get to a special Sunday edition of Too Opinionated, please do me a favor and subscribe. It would really help us out. Now, let's get to this great interview.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. So excited today. I've got actress, singer, model Xenia Seeberg with me.
Hey.
Welcome, Xenia.
So happy to be with you.
I know. I was so excited when you said you come on the show. I was such a fan of yours. Still am.
Well,
but can you believe it's been 20 years?
No. I can't believe it's 20 years. Actually, 21 even. Like, oh God, no. That must be probably somewhere in a parallel universe. I cannot believe it's that long.
No, I know. It seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, true. That's actually very true.
We used to watch Lexx on the Sci-Fi Network.
Right.
And it just seems like I was just like, what is this weird show?
Yeah, I remember actually just recently, somebody told me that now it was on either, I don't know, like Amazon TV or somewhere, like It was there again. And so people started writing me again, and they know usually that I'm on Instagram, or better to reach on Instagram anyways, and Facebook. I'm really bad with Facebook or any other social media. So therefore, so they asked me like, whoa, we've seen you recently. I like, oh, okay, I've seen myself recently, but probably I don't find myself of the times back in 2001. The world seemed to be so different then, but out in the universe, it was probably, I mean, that's just a finger snip, breathe in, out, and we're right here. So.
Don't you think it's time for a remake or a sequel, something?
So, yeah, very, very true. Yeah, I mean, Michael, Brian, Ellen, and I, we got together in New York a few years ago, like right before the pandemic hit, the year before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And at this convention show, that was the first time we all saw each other again in quite a while. So, and yeah, all of our fans were like, please, can you do a remake? Can you finally do a feature 20 years later? That would be so much fun. And I said, yeah, actually, I'd love to do that. But still, it seems to be difficult with the rights. Like, I know that at some point, like Paul's production company, Salt the Street, got bought by Alliance Atlantis. Alliance Atlantis got bought by Disney. And so right now, I don't even know who owns the rights to Lexx.
You could be a Disney princess. Perfect.
I would still qualify for a Disney princess, but hey, age is just it's just a number. And plus, regarding how old Xev would probably be right now, so I'm still a baby, basically.
That's right. That's right. I think it's a really good time for a remake, but only, I mean, they would have to do it justice, because we wouldn't want like a really serious remake. We want one that kind of had the spirit of the original.
Right. I mean, was Lexx ever totally serious? I don't know.
I don't think so.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was always just fun and outrageous and different. I mean, at the time, it was different than anything else on TV.
Yeah.
That's
made it so much fun, that it was just different from everything else, and we didn't care. We didn't want to fit in the picture or fulfill people's expectations. It was always about the anti-expectation and the anti, and that's really what gave us so much freedom to do the show, but also to have so much fun with it. Like, what is this? I have some kind of hair. Okay.
I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem.
Walking across my face, then let me know. Okay. What it feels like right now, except I can't see it.
Yeah, no, that's the worst, because it's there, but it's impossible to figure out, exactly where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little faster, walking across my. Exactly.
When they pitched Lexx to you, and I know you came on a little bit after the beginning, but it was close to the beginning. I mean, what was that like? You're like, well, it's this woman, and she's mixed with a lizard. And I mean, how did that, when they were telling you about it, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I think I didn't think too much. It just sounded like something I should take on.
Yeah.
I go like beyond, like, oh my God, no, this is not this is not going to be good for my acting career because it's not serious enough. Like, no, I really want to go for drama here. So no, I should stay away from the show. No, that's not what I want to do. No, I read the script and Paul approached me and he said, well, we saw this little movie of yours and I love this little movie and I think you fit perfectly. I said, oh, okay. Sure. So we had the audition and it was funny because Louise Wischerman, who eventually played Leica, she also auditioned for the part of Xev. And the German time, he really wanted Louise to be Xev. And because in Germany, I don't know, for some reason, I was always like the unloved child, I guess. Yeah, because, usually the things I did were more, because I didn't care. And even if people would ask me or in interviews, I don't give anything about politics. So therefore, if I like something and if I think that there's a really great creative idea behind a project, then I'll go for it, and so it happened.
I think that's pretty great. And did I tell me if I'm remembering this wrong, but did you do a movie with Eva? Like you guys were in the same movie together at some point? Does that sound right?
Not that I remember. I mean, we had known each other from before, and we would occasionally see each other at. Oh, you mean after Lexx?
After Lexx.
Yeah, after Lexx. Yes, we did a movie together. It was called The Clown.
I was thinking it was something with clown in it, and I was like, okay, that's probably not right, so I didn't want to say that.
The Clown, yeah, The Clown. Yes, that was like 2 or 3 years after Lexx ended. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a neat coincidence because obviously you were in the same acting circle at the time.
Yeah, but I already lived in the States by then. I lived in Los Angeles. I had moved from Canada to the US, and I wasn't even going to do the movie. So my German acting agent. My German agent really had a hard time convincing me to do that movie because at the time I was at a recording studio. I was recording songs with Verticals and also with some really great music producers at the time. Lanny, he was one of the producers who did Lisa Stansfield and Beyonce in her early days. So they were like, okay, yeah, we really want to do something with this chick, this German chick. And I was totally excited, and then all of a sudden this call came like, yeah, can you do Der Clown in Germany? I was like, Der Clown, what is that? Because it used to be a series. So that was a feature for a series at the time. And so he really had a hard time convincing me. And eventually, since I also had to become like a super dark brunette, not to match Eva, but also to be like the total opposite. So in a way, it worked out well. I went, I did it, and she was the good girl. I was the mean girl. So much more fun to play.
Of course.
It's in my mind, so yeah, it was all good. Yeah.
I still, if you can believe it, I still have my CD of Absolute Music 20, I think. That's still, it's got a lot of your music on there.
My music?
Yeah. Absolute Music is what it was called. It was like a dance compilation CD.
Okay.
Yeah, I've still got it.
Really? Okay. Good to know. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it had Heartbeat was one of them that was on there. Yeah.
Yes, Maria. Okay. Yeah, Dance Project, 90s. Oh boy, that was bad.
It was fun at the time.
Yeah, it was the time. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, actually now my son kind of digs it. He was like, wow, yeah, I think we should do a remix of Heartbeat. I said, yeah, sure, honey. No way.
Wasn't the video? Weren't you in some type of space type of video?
Yeah, exactly. That's how my
Sci-fi, yeah.
My sci-fi career started right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the?
I did see the video.
Somebody put. I don't know. Just recently discovered it, and I go, oh, okay. Somebody's making money with this here on YouTube. So yeah, I didn't know until then. But it was.
Are you still singing?
I'm still singing, yeah. But I mean, that was very far from all the other music I ever did. So,
yeah.
But like we said, it was right at the time, and that's what people wanted to hear. So I had to pitch up my voice to this really little. I mean, and even at the time, I was already 30, I think. So. Yeah, I mean, compared to Xev's age, still baby shoe, baby. But yeah, like they're like total different voice. Yeah, I could barely recognize my voice because usually it's a little lower, a little fuller, and so yeah, anything I did afterwards, like with the verticals, would be more really like the fun kind of music I would love to do. So. Yeah.
I liked your music with the verticals quite a lot, and you're right, very different from the dance music.
Oh, but you probably only know like the first 3 songs, right? Like we did like I think 15 total, but we still haven't released them. So.
It's do you still get together with the group on occasion?
Yeah, I mean we did in 2019. We did last time. Like the summer of 19, and then ever since I haven't gone back. So I mean at least 3 or 4 times a year I was in LA seeing all my friends and James Armstrong and Jim Alquist, so the 2 guys, the vertical guys, and it's always great fun if we get together. And we even shot like a couple of music videos in Laguna Beach, which was
very
fun.
Nice.
And I don't know why we still didn't release it. I don't know what we are waiting for.
Well, yeah, you need to get those out there.
I know. Yeah, tell me about it.
No, I think you've got a really good voice. Like it's very complex, I think. So like Heartbeat didn't really do your voice justice.
No,
I don't think.
Yeah.
I had read that you'd even done a little bit of opera singing.
I did, yeah. Back in the day, I was trained to be an opera singer, and I did musical in Düsseldorf, my close to my hometown, where I lived for quite a while and studied for a while. Yeah, so that's why I did musical and opera. That's true.
Pretty great.
Yeah, that was fun.
What I should have started this way, but I was too excited to talk about everything else. But what got you into entertainment? When you were growing up, did you say, okay, I'm going to be a singer, or I'm going to be an actress? What got you into that?
Well, I think my subconsciousness got me into that because, I mean, I'd always been acting and singing since I was little. My dad was also a musician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he passed away way too early on my 40th birthday. So I'd always been doing that. But since I grew up in a small town in Western Germany, like, hello, what could you do? Like, it's not exactly calling for, Miss Famous. Is, like there's the cows and there's the girl. You can choose now.
Sounds kind of like West Virginia, actually.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, do you have the same saying that on the countryside, the girls and the cows are equally?
It sounds like a saying that we could have.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, so it was nice to go up there. Very healthy air,
Yeah,
And
I'd always heard that Germany's kind of mountainous, which is similar to West Virginia. So I wonder if it's, if it's similar climate, that type of thing.
No, not really.
No.
I grew up. Yeah, I mean, no mountains there, super flat, like almost Holland. And that's maybe where I got
Okay.
part of my sense of humor is probably because I'm such a whatever mixture. I still need to figure out, like, I need to do one of those tests, like ancestry, like.
Oh yeah, you need to do that. Those things they're pretty interesting.
I know they're interesting. Yes, they totally are. And oh, sorry, I'm moving you around. I had to find a spot where it was sunny and light enough, and I still have visitors. So not to be distracted, I moved into my bedroom here.
When we started this podcast, my son and I, we were doing it out of our bedroom, and then we eventually moved to a studio. But that's how we started. So that's all right.
So ever do an interview in my bedroom? Can you imagine? Yeah.
Well, at least we were first for something.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Exactly. And I mean, never too late, right? As long as we are alive and healthy and breathing, never too late.
That's right.
But your question was, so growing up on the countryside, there was no room for go out in the world and become a famous actress, singer, whatever. Anything in the entertainment industry basically didn't exist there. But it was, I guess it was somewhere in my genes. And my parents, of course, wanted me to study, like do something, useful.
Of course, yeah, of course.
For your future life. And so I studied quite a few different things there, but I was never satisfied.
Yeah.
Never happy with what I did. I mean, it was good at the time, but I thought, like, oh my God, no, this is so boring. Like, I don't want to be a teacher for Latin and philosophy. It's all great, but am I going to do that for the rest of my life? Like, no.
That's right.
And graphic designs and fashion design, that's, that was a little more of my interest. And I was fairly good doing that. So I did it for a little while I was still studying, again, second studies, But then, I decided, no, I need to do something more creative than that. And somehow Düsseldorf, which is of course bigger than Geldern, the small town that I grew up in, but still too small for my square head. I just needed to leave. And so I went to Paris first, and I did modeling in Paris and then in Milan and in a lot of other places, went to New York, and finally started going to acting class, taking acting classes. And that's how it all started. So my dad was too happy about it. My mom said she understand, and she wished me well. And so she's still happy with my choices, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah. At this point, it's a little too late if you're not.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. You might as well get on board. You're not going to change it now.
Yeah. Well, there might be other choices that I'm making now that you might not be happy with, but sure, no, the acting was fine. Yeah. So it was the right decision for me.
I think the first thing that I remember seeing you in wasn't Lexx. It was an episode of Total Recall, the television series.
Really? That was later.
I know, but that's what I saw first, because I was a little bit late coming to Lexx. And then I caught up because I was like, this is great.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny. I still eventually talked to Michael Easton. I did Total Recall with, and since there was no social media at the time, so nobody knew that we were actually dating for about 4 years, I think.
Oh yeah.
After we did the show, and Total Recall was just a side gig for me. like on my height. My hiatus break from Lexx, I did that, and I also still talk to Jeff King, the producer at the time, who produces, for example, the Umbrella Academy. Which
maybe you can tell I'm a comic book guy, so I was a fan of the comic book before the series, and the series has been great.
Yeah. So Jeff and I we talk like, every other month we talk, and so I think he's got great things going on there. Also the show he did before, like he does all kinds of interesting things. So he said, like, well, it's time, Xenia, you come back to New York, and we'll have to get working together again. That would be great. Yeah,
that'd be pretty good. What was your first television role?
My first television role, let me think, because the first feature I was in was Knocking on Heaven's Door,
right?
Or maybe a quick, like, whatever in Farinelli, but that was nothing. That was I think even my 2 lines that I had on Farinelli, they got cut out.
It still counts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then let me think, what did I do? Like the first TV thing, some TV movie before I started doing a series in Germany. Yeah, I did a couple of TV series in Germany at first, in the 90s before I went on to Lexx. Yeah, which one of them was actually quite fun. Like, I mean, there were regular series, and then there was also I was a guest star on a show called Nicola. And Nicola was a comedy show. And my part there, I just recently, somebody sent it to me, said, oh my God, you were so hilarious on that show. I don't know the way you do comedy. And I said, yeah, that's what I've heard a lot of times. Yet, like after my son was born, I didn't go back to acting as much as a lot of people wished, because I really felt like I wanted to concentrate on being a mother now,
Yeah, of course.
I do it completely, and I like halfways. I'm the same with acting. When I'm on a project, then I'm 100% there, or even more. So, but I love comedy, obviously. So, Nicola was great fun, although it was German. So, but somehow people even who don't speak German, they said, like, we it came across like we did understand. Like, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. Did you speak English before you came to the States, or did you learn it after you got here?
Well, I learned English in school because I grew up in Western Germany. But of course, like, any language you learn in school, usually
it's not the same as having to put it into practice.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly my English improved, like, because I started modeling. Like, I didn't speak Italian or French at the time, not as well anyway. So in the modeling industry, like the acting industry, everybody somehow speaks English, even if the French really try to avoid it at all costs, They hate speaking any other language but French, because their language is so much more beautiful, of course. I mean, it is.
It is a pretty language. It is.
It's always Italian, so is Spanish. Anything but German. No,
admittedly, German and American, English to a certain extent, they're a little harsher languages.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, harsher than German is probably Dutch. Yes, I mean, they're in about the same ballpark, but Dutch even more intense, really intense sounds, and also Mongolian, which I just learned.
Really? That's an interesting one because that's a tough one to learn too. Yeah,
very tough. I mean, my son started learning it a bit, and he doesn't have a problem with it because he just learns every language. I don't know how he does it. Like, he has some funny language talent, and he sucks in math. So anyway, but he said, Mom, this is so complicated. And even for him, being this great, like, whoa, it's like, if you combine German and Japanese and Dutch and maybe Finnish, like the Finnish language is also quite tough, you know, and like put that in a mixer and maybe even some Chinese influence in there. Like, boy, it's so hard. I said, no, sorry, I will not learn that language anytime in this lifetime. So.
Finnish is, I think, difficult. Like the names are difficult. Their names can be so long, and it can be kind of difficult. So if it's got that mixed in there with it, yeah, that's probably a tough one to learn.
Yep, absolutely. It doesn't exactly roll off your tongue. Yeah. No, very, very hard. Anyway.
Are you go ahead.
Going to acting class, acting school in New York? Absolutely. Yeah. Before it was more like, you know, my teacher, her English would be, I mean, a lot of Germans, they still speak, you know, very heavy German accent, like in even 20 years after they've lived there forever, and they would still, you'd be able to tell, like, oh, they're German. There's certain sounds that they make, and we go like, yeah, that does not sound like American English or British English or any other English. So
yeah, that's pretty funny and true, and very true. Are you artistic in any other way? Because I know you sing and you act. You know, do you paint or do you do sculptures? You know, any other type of artistic ability?
That's actually a good one. Maybe I should do that. But no, that's fun. Like sculptures, no, we'll leave that one out. But yeah, I used to paint, yes, but I did that, started acting. And then for some reason I quit, and but maybe I should go back exploring my first developed art, kind of art, senses of arts. I don't know.
It's time.
Maybe like a few more years, like maybe in about 20 years from now, I might be back at painting. Yeah, because that's a more relaxed pastime. So you got plenty of time for that. You can do that down the road. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, like if I focus on something, then I'm completely focused. Then leave me alone. Whoever wants something else, like, no. So I would probably take painting very seriously. So I'm known for, you know, like being a total, as much as maybe I you know, I appear like a goofball or like, you know, this funny, easy person, but I am pretty German in some ways, that I love to be precise. You know, I love to be on time, and I love to be really precise on things and right on the money. And I'm never satisfied with anything but the best. If it comes to, you know, whatever people expect from me or what I expect from myself. So preparation for a character or for a movie is usually pretty intense. And so the same for the movie that I just did in France. And yeah, so with that one also, everybody's like, oh my God, Xenia, you're such a perfectionist. It's terrible. I said, I know, but I don't care. It needs to be this way. So, I mean, I hope I'm not a pain in the butt, like on set, but still, you know, like even tiny little tweaks, I really go for like, oh, can we do that? Like a little more this way or that one. Like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah. So the poor director, she's a great girl, who we did this movie with now. Berglind Thorstadottir. She is originally from Iceland, but we grew up in the States, and and she's like in her early 30s, and yeah, a great young director.
What's the movie? What kind of genre is it?
Well, it's like a combination of drama and comedy and sci-fi. I mean, it's set a little bit in the future, not too far in the future. And it has the funny title called Climacteria. And the story is about two friends, like about my earthy age right now, not my space age, and yeah, those two girls, like it's kind of like the journey, how they experience this phase in life and how different roads it can take them, and what brings them back together. And I mean, like how differently they look at things, and then eventually life brings them back together in certain aspects. And it's about this intense friendship of the two women, and it sets a little bit of an example. At least that's what we really aspire to create here, is that when you look back at the 2000s or 2010s, like of course, like our life just sped up so intensely since social media was available to everyone. And we all had this feeling of like, we need to drive faster, faster, faster. Everything needed to be faster and better and more beautiful. And like the world like really took off in a strange spin. And the pandemic, of course, like put everything not only at a hold,
Right.
but make us reevaluate our consciousness. I think somehow changed a bit during that time. At least we got the chance that our consciousness could change. So like in the 2010s, like I said, like it was like everything seemed to be very separate. Like, you know, like the people who were like in their 20s, they would only be with people in their 20s. And some people who were like 40 or 50, they were like, oh my God, they're ancient. And it was almost like parallel lives, but there were not really, you know, no crossroads. And the same with teenagers. So everybody thought they were on the right track and they knew it better and they had it all, you know, like right up there. And all of a sudden it was like, no, actually, we started to look left and right again. And it's all of a sudden it's interesting. Like, what is this generation doing? And what is that generation doing? And all of a sudden you go out with 25-year-olds and they go like, wow, this is actually, all of a sudden it comes to like a whole world unfolds in front of their ears and eyes that they didn't know about because they didn't care before, you know. And so this little movie, I think, also helps like giving an understanding for women in their midlife and the up and downs they might go through without taking it so terribly seriously. Like, you know, before, if men especially heard the word menopause, they're like, oh my God. And yeah, that's really what we wanted to change. I mean, it's part of our earth journey, no matter male or female. If men don't call it that, they still go through something. But right. It's so better if we somehow all communicate about things, and there's not this ghost anymore that haunts us and we're all so scared of it and we try to chase it away, and still it's gonna haunt us back and be there eventually, you know. So therefore it just feels really liberating to do something where everybody somehow can relate to, you know, no matter how young a person or how old a person is. So that's why I really thought this is a very interesting project, and I like to be on it. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great. Are you finished with it? Or are we just waiting for it to be released, or are they still working on it?
No, we're still working on it. Yeah, we just finished our part in France, and now there's still a few more days here ahead of us in Berlin. Actually, we even started in Berlin in January. So like all of the indoor scenes we filmed in Berlin. And then we were supposed to fly out to California and shoot the rest in California. But then eventually it became Southern France pretending to be in California. I mean, I think it doesn't really matter, really. Just you want to see like the contrast of, you know, I mean, they have great landscapes, and it's somehow easier to even film in Southern France because you have a little more freedom. LA is quite tough when it comes to, you know, regulations, where you can film and how far in advance you have to book certain locations. And so it was like for all of us, it was much easier to finish the production or start and finish the production in Europe, because the director, although she's American or Icelandic American, she lives in Berlin now.
Right.
And that's why we did it here.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. So I know we got to wrap up, but is there anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, right now, no, I'm still involved with this one here. And like I said, I always totally focus on one project at a time. And I'll go back to, so in about 10 days from now, I'll go back to Thailand, go back to Koh Samui, where we just recently, very recently, as of yesterday, my son moved there. So I will come to a new home, and everything will be prepared for me already. Thank you. Perfect to have a 16-year-old who's so responsible. And then I don't know. I think I'll have to find something. Maybe I'll start writing my own little project there.
There you go.
That I've always been interested in, and so far in my life, I was called to write things, and I've done it like for magazine or newspaper articles, usually like smaller things, or smaller stories. That was all good, but I would never call myself a writer. So back in the days, my ex-boyfriend, Michael Easton, who's also a writer. He's not only an actor, he's also a really good writer. He writes too. And so he always he gave me a hard time, like, Xenia, you should really get your butt up there and you start writing. So I think I'm finally getting to the space where I have the freedom to do that, and where I have enough, collective material, like life material, things I experienced and things I went through, and learned enough that maybe now I can do that. So that's something that I'm interested in, and that I might do next thing. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. It's time. Let's write some stuff down.
And when it's all finished, I'll let you know. Once you get your masterpiece written, you have to come back. Okay. Yeah, sure. It'll take a few years. So hopefully I'll be, as soon as
time.
I mean, Climacteria is actually the movie that we just talked about, is supposed to be the pilot for a series. So it will probably hit the film festivals first. So you might catch us there.
Very nice.
And who knows? It would be great if it went into series. I think we had a lot to tell. Yeah,
that's terrific. Well, Xenia, thank you so much for taking a little bit on a Sunday.
Yeah,
it's so nice of you.
On a Sunday. That was the only day I had time to do this. So.
I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time. Before I let you go, though, where can we? I know you're on Instagram. Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't do the whole TikTok thingy. It's just too much for me. So
TikTok's a hard one.
It's a hard one, yeah. I mean, even my son refuses to do it because he is a singer, and he says like, no. TikTok is for people, they pretend all kinds of things, but they usually don't sing. So he used to do TikTok. And I said, okay, look, I'm much better with Instagram. I know the platform is just quicker for me to respond to people. And like Facebook is so time consuming that I go, usually, don't text me on Facebook, because I might see it in a couple of years from now or never. but not today or next week. So therefore, please, anybody who wants to ask questions or just write something nice, please just get on Instagram and search for Xenia Seeberg, and you can ask me anything you like.
Yeah, I think that's terrific. And Instagram's the nicest one.
Yeah, it's just easy. It's easy to use. Of course, like a lot of people, like especially like Brian. Brian is on Facebook, and he sometimes says, Xenia, do you also tell things? I know you can write, so why do you always just post pictures? I go, well, I don't even post them on Facebook. I just click a button on Instagram that says automatically go to Facebook too. So, okay, there you go. Good people. Facebook. yeah, no. Just I prefer definitely the quicker and easier way. Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the easiest and probably the best one because you just put positive stuff up there. Nobody's putting a lot of negative stuff up on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, negative stuff, just go somewhere else. We don't need it. There's so much stuff going on in the world anyway, so nobody wants that. Just come on, everybody, lighten up. Right.
Well, now that we've done this interview, maybe we can get the ball rolling on bringing Lexx back.
That would be perfect. If you find out who owns the rights, I mean, we're all there. I even still have my costume in my closet.
No, you don't. If I did a show and I still had the costume, I'd just be showing up at conventions. They wouldn't even have to ask, and I'd just be there in costume.
Okay. Yeah, we'll think about that. But we all kept it and preserved it for the better cause of coming back. It even fits.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
This is like pretty much cluster lizard color here, right?
Yeah, you're ready. And now that you're wanting to write, maybe you could write some of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even Jeff Hirschfield, he would write right away. Everybody would be right there. If somebody got it together and said like, okay, look, it is owned by Disney, but we have, well, I don't know, like there's a person we can talk to and they are willing to whatever. Maybe I think they just forgot about it, and we need to remind them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get working on it. So just expect a call at some point in the near future and be like, we're bringing it back.
Yep. That'd be great.
Xenia, thank you so much. Let's keep in touch and do this again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so very much. Thanks for having me. You enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Oh no, Sunday noon. Oh God, yes.
Yeah. I'm still Sunday late morning. I got the whole day ahead of me.
Well, have a second breakfast then.
Yeah. That's where I'm heading. It's brunch time.
Perfect.
All right, Xenia, hold on 1 second. If you are a Lexx fan, I hope you really enjoyed that. Xenia Seeberg, and she's so much fun, just as fun now as she was 20 years ago when the show was on. So if you're like me and would love to see more Lexx, let's get that started and see if we can bring that back. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I was so excited to have her on the show. We did a rare Sunday interview. So terrific. Just terrific. If you haven't done so yet, we could really use the help with our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you could go there and subscribe, it would really help us just a ton. We really appreciate that. We're up to 410 episodes now. Can't believe it. And you can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. There's a terrific, funny, geeky blog that Brett writes. That's on there. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, all that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Hi, everybody.